when we conclude, when he concludes going through the budget, then we'll have a period of questions and answers regarding that budget, which is the purpose of this meeting. There are some people who have posed some questions to the office that go outside of that agenda. We have those questions, and we are going to prepare written answers to all those questions, and we will publish those to the website. And anybody who does not have access to the website can contact the office, and we'll be happy to either mail or you can come by and pick up a copy of that response. In addition to that, when that's done, I'll have a few statements that I need to make just about some of the things that are going on that will be affecting the community, in the near future, in the next 8 to 12 months. So you're already aware of what the state is planning on doing regarding Highway 6474. So we'll have a brief discussion of that at the end. George?
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
What was your name again? My name is George Gabler. I'm an accounting firm of Goldsmith, Moelis & Gray in Asheville. So, just to be clear on what our role is here, that the developer maintains the property for the association, collects the dues, and makes the bills. And after those bills are paid, we take those bills, enter them into actually your QuickBooks accounting system, and at the end of the year we pay the tax, prepare the tax return. So we're not doing the books of original entry here. You all have, my understanding of the meeting is that we're mostly here to go over the budget and help you understand what the budget line items are. Obviously, a lot of you have this letter that has been handed out. I don't know if this was circulated before, but I don't see any reason why we couldn't discuss some of the merits of that letter here, while everybody's gathered. But that's not the explicit purpose of this meeting, is to ratify the budget. And as I understand it, not that I'm some parliamentarian, I see we're being recorded here. Would you mind just identifying yourself? Who's doing the recording, please?
Jay Eberhardt.
Mr. Jebber?
Jay Eberhardt.
Mr. Jay Eberhardt. So somebody would make note of that. And is there anyone here who has objection to that?
Is there anybody else recording?
Yes. Adrian Partain, back here.
All right.
There you go. James Lawson.
Mr. Lawton. So, you all have the budget in front of you.
Do you guys have a problem with that, or?
I don't have a problem.
Okay.
I just want to make sure. I think
Okay.
it's fair for people who are being recorded to know that they are.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't you?
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm asking. I'm not trying to rattle the cage. I'm just asking permission.
That's fine. So you all have, yes, sir.
When you first started out, you mentioned that you get the figures compiled to you. You don't do the budget.
We don't write the check.
You just do what you're given.
That's correct.
So you don't know whether those were spent or not. You're just taking figures from someone else and putting them on paper.
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
We have not been engaged to perform an audit.
Okay.
Or a review either
Thank
of the
you.
financial statement.
Thank you.
Excellent question. So, is there anyone who has not been given a copy of the budget?
This that you just passed out
Yes, sir.
is a lot different from this, which was distributed about the notice for the meeting. In other words, we didn't have time to see all this until just now. So questions related to this will be difficult because we haven't had time to analyze it or scrutinize it or examine it at all. And we're really totally surprised by that.
Actually, in the notice, we said that the proposed version would be published on the website, and that was the version in your hand.
Was this on the website?
Yes, it was, sir, yes.
Some of us
But-
don't have computers.
Okay, well, be that as it may, that's why we're here. As you have a budget in front of you, And I would think that whatever the state of happiness or unhappiness with the line items are, it would be easier for anyone looking at that to understand those items if I help you understand what's in each category.
I agree.
Okay, so with your permission, I will go down each line item and tell you basically what's in there. The top line item, 3110, maintenance fee income, $489,600, reflects a rent increase of $400, which it was the last 3 or 4 years, up to $450 per lot. So as somebody's pointed out, that's 25% increase.
Times how many lots? Did you get that figure?
You'd have, if somebody could buy it for $450, buy $489.60. I don't, how many lots?
It's about 1,080 lots.
80? More or less
1100.
1,100.
1110.
The prepayment discount, as you know, if someone pays, they send the bills out in sometime in May. If the payment is made before July 1st, you can take a discount. And this 19,584 is not an actual number, but it's based on history. That's what they expect will be claimed as the $25 discount. Likewise, with the account number 750, every year there are a large number of people who do not pay the dues, and that looks like it's in around $73,000 per year. So once you're done with that, that leaves cash that's available to be spent. Yes, sir?
Can we ask questions related to that 73?
I think you can, but for clarity, why don't you let me go down the list and tell you what's in each item?
That's fine.
And so then everybody's on an even playing field, and if that's all right. We have administrative fees of $122,000 for lot. And that represents roughly $8 per door or per lot. And that all goes to to the property management company, Vista North Carolina Management. As is alleged in this letter, that company is owned by the Riverbend family. Next, we have contractor fees, and you can see those are independent contractors. People are not paid as employees. That total is $47,126.75, and that goes to 3 different categories. I'll give you the individuals' names and the jobs they perform. The administrative part, $14,767. That goes to Kathy Hansford, and she does clerical work around the office. The $26,897, that goes to Clyde Ingersoll, and I'm sure you all know Clyde and are familiar generally with what he does. The next one, IT, is probably maybe a short-term problem for the next year or so. It's actually been paid to Elizabeth Lang, she's over here. But what she's been trying to do is to get the information on a more transparent basis. And it's put quite a bit of effort in coordination with our firm. That's one thing we've tried to help her do that I didn't mention. They've been working with somebody called Association Voice, so that, and that's a property management community association of communities, and that helps you publish things online, questions online, responses online, to-do items online, the budget online, be able to take payments online. And that is sort of quite a difficult, just technical set of problems to solve. They're close to getting that resolved. So that gets us down to $47,000. Line number 5404 of $3,782.82 is general property owner's insurance, and that goes to automobile owner's insurance company. As long as we've been touching the books, that's where it's been the same company. Loan interest of $1,192.66. That is interest that's paid on a loan with Home Trust, and the principal amount was borrowed for
Improvements, the guardhouse gates, things like that.
The improvements
Quite some
to-
time back.
beg your pardon?
Quite some time back.
Okay. Again, that's been on there for a long time. It's right in the middle, account number 5451. So that goes to Home Trust Bank. Next, we have, next to management fees, your biggest cost category relates, and this wouldn't be a surprise to anybody, to road maintenance and repair. So the total of that is $180,365.88. And that's broken down into, for the most part, diesel fuel and $4,553. That's paid to Let's Petroleum. Gravel, $24,500. That is paid to Thompson Contracting and to some degree Merrill Specialty Services, depending on where they get the gravel. Account number 5472 is Leadco. You can see that's where the bulk of this is, $116,142.92. In addition to that, $30,000 goes to Ecological Development and Repairs Company. I will say Ecological Development and Repairs is owned and run by Martin. Leadco's independent third party. We don't have any connection to them. Nobody does. Maintenance of supplies, again, that vary, but it's small, $1,801.07. And repairs of equipment. Usually those get expended to Marion Equipment and Supply, $1,000. So when you add all that up, 180 or 35% of your budget cost, at least of the collectible dues, goes to keeping the roads in general repair. Next, we have some office expenses. $2,140 of office supplies, a copier, $2,240.89. So that's actually, aside from repairs, that includes monthly rental payments that are paid for the share of the copier that's in this building, which is a leased copier. Postage, that goes to Pitney Bowes or to fill up the meter or to the U.S. Postal Service, $2,809.26. Stationery printing and forms, that goes to Associated Press, $391.99. Rent, $10,615, and that's paid for the share of the rent on this. That rent, this building shares it. Beg your pardon? The same company that owns the management company. This is North Carolina Management.
What's the rent for?
This building that we're sitting in. And the rent on this building is shared 50-50, I think, with, is it 50-50? I'd have to look. It's shared pro rata with Riverbend Highlands Community Association.
It's not 50/50. It also includes the shop, the storage building, and the yard behind.
Okay.
For all the equipment stored.
It says shared pro rata, not 50-50. Next, accounting fees and legal, that's $6,108, and that goes to two different places. About half of that goes to our firm, Goldsmith, Mullis & Gray. The other half is going to go to legal fees. In the recent years, that's been the law firm of McGuire, Wood & Bissett in Asheville.
So is that a 50-50 you think?
It's not
Accounting
exactly
and legal,
50-50.
but basically.
roughly.
All right.
The legal fees go largely to try and collect dues that haven't been paid up on the 73,000 above. And that due collection process thing is an interesting question itself. Bookkeeping, $86.25. I think that really is such a small number, it probably just belongs in the line above it. Property taxes, that's property tax on the common area, that gets paid to Rutherford County, $1,400.
George, that's actually on the lots that the POA owns.
Okay. Did you get that? I was thinking of those as common areas, since the POA owns them. Did you get that? Those are specifically on lots owned by the POA.
How many lots is that?
Well, originally it was 20, now I think it's 16,
17, 16.
17.
Telecommunications, that's AT&T, again, for phones in this building. Electric, Duke Power and Energy, 42, 46, which would include electricity over at the guardhouse.
Yeah, actually, every pedestal gate opening has a phone in it, the guardhouse has a phone in it as well. That's the bulk of the bill. And then electricity, all the gates, obviously, the power. There's power at the common area, the lake,
So, at this point, I think the best thing is to open up for general questions. Yes, ma'am?
There was no number, Bob, it's 900. Or did I miss something there? The trash, there's no money amount put there.
Yeah, there is.
Oh.
Nine.
Oh, okay, I thought that was the total up there, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Those lines are confusing. The line above it, the 6,194, is the total of this, of professional fees. Then taxes stands alone
I
at
see.
$1,400.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, thank you. I'm
Yes, sir.
easily confused.
I go back with this loan interest. Is that all we're paying? Is the interest? We're not paying on the principal?
no, there is some principal each month.
Where is it listed on here?
That'd be on the balance sheet, which is not here, but I think the monthly payment,
it's about 2,000 a month.
2,000 a month?
How much do we still owe?
Does that include what? What do we borrow money for? I'm aware of some of it, but what total?
Okay. Martin, you're gonna
Yeah, it
have
was about 6 or 7 years ago, a loan was taken to redo the front entrance, the guardhouse, install 1 or 2 gates. I'm not 100% sure.
I think it was the new gate, Martin, on
Yeah.
that side.
And then also, I think they did a big slug to gravel, and then some improvements to the community. I believe that was the whole. I think the loan was about 120 in total to Home Trust, and I think it's almost paid off. I think we've got probably 6 or 7 more payments, and it's liquidated.
So the homeowners were paying the interest and this was
The
paying the
payment,
loan payment?
no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
paid on
It
it.
just says interest.
Yeah, it's just how it showed up on the financial statement.
And on this budget, I don't notice where it says maintenance fee income. Don't we have other income? Such as impactment fees, fines, so forth?
There's no other income that I'm aware of other than maintenance fee income.
No, George, you've got gate cards, purchases, impact fees, fines. We have all that as well.
And
Well,
That's not noted on here.
let me look, here's the, okay, let me look at the historical financials. We got, in this current year, we got $1,301 for equipment rental for a piece of equipment that we must have leased out of the
Right.
house. But I'm not seeing any other income other than in administrative fees, at least for the last year.
Well, you have to have your growth look at that,
All right,
because it's on each of those columns,
all right.
Kathy breaks down, what all the income is.
Let's take them in order.
Is there any interest income on the $500,000 that, from the bank where our money's spent? What about interest income on our money for a year? We don't get interest on it? I guess I'll ask that of Martin.
Yeah, we do not push the funds and the return,
You just
what's
have it in a-
involved in to try to move funds back and forth for a 0.25% interest.
Well, you can get an account that will pay interest and also use it as a checking account in any bank.
No, we have not done that in the past.
Pardon me?
We have not done that in the past.
I know. You haven't done it now. You know what I think would be a good idea? If we went down the row and the questions everybody has to ask item by item, just like you went through them. Why don't we have people ask their questions about each item, starting from top to bottom, if there are any on each area?
I think it's okay, but this two couples has been raising their hands for
Okay.
quite a while. Let's get to them first.
You mentioned that your company has not been hired to do an audit.
Correct.
How long has it been since the last audit was done? And do the bylaws call for periodic audit of the financials?
That's a good question.
The
I'm not
bylaws do
aware
not
of
call for audits. The
Pardon me?
bylaws do not call for an audit, and I think it's been about 10 or 12 years since we've had it so long.
Did everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Yes?
I'd like to formally move that audit be scheduled.
You might help, Martin, if you come out.
And bid out to firms so that we make sure that the auditing firm is not connected with this organization in any way.
The question
Avoid conflict.
of audits has been discussed multiple times now with the board, and they have reviewed several times the cost of those audits, because they do vary in degree from, simple income, expense audits all the way through to every single detail. They can range anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000.
That's fine.
And the board has
That's money well spent,
That's
right?
money well spent. Money well spent. I'll add to that. I have two CPA firms that, telling them what would be required or what we want done, they will do it for about $5,000. So you're right about the 5,000, but the 25 is like absurd.
Well, if it's been 10 years since the last time, it would seem to me over 10 years, $500 a year to have an audit done at this time would be well spent. Because of the expenses I see here jacked up, 5,000 is nothing.
Okay.
I think protection for all of us.
Yes.
Have an audit done, as members, and then to have every 3 to 5 years, possibly even have a different firm do it to make sure that there's no problems there ethically. It just, like I said, it's protection for the homeowners and the association itself to have audits done.
This is the homeowner's money, by the way.
I think that's a great idea.
I'm not lecturing.
The only reason if I'm looking, like I'm hesitating here, is just, I'm not totally sure this is the point in the meeting for new business. So,
When is the point?
well, I'm saying, let's sort of continue to go down the questions before we move to action. But as I look through the crowd, it seems there's general agreement. I mean, everyone's nodding their head yes. And then we're going to run into a lot of procedural issues, relating to forums and things like that. So I think everybody wants to be heard and reflected and get an action that can come out of this. All I'm saying is for right now, that's sort of beyond question into action. So let's just come back to that in a few minutes. Yes, sir.
As being owners, do we have a legal right to see the records of our finances, such as the monthly bank statements? I'm elected to the finance committee. This gentleman here is also on it, and we do not get access to that information. Does the law require us to have access to our financial records?
I'm not a lawyer, but it seems highly unlikely that you would not have access to that.
We're a non-profit organization, and every organization I'm involved with, I can go in and see the records anytime I want to. Churches, veterans, affairs, veterans organization, any non-profit organization. I don't know about the other ones, but if one contributed money to it, I should be allowed to see where each dollar goes.
Martin, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, it's not really quite as simple as that. There are a couple of different dynamics that I've been told by the attorneys. There is some requirements for, financial statements, which we're providing now, and proposed budgets as well. We are required to provide certain information, which is being made available and will be published on our website. But we are not required to sit down and have a conversation with a prospective owner or property owner that is attempting to micromanage the finances and interfere with the operation of the finances. So, yeah, simply providing financial statements like a transaction report that shows each expense. We have those, the board has reviewed those. It's my understanding that the finance committee is not in existence at the moment because we did not re-elect members of that finance committee. But those transaction reports are being prepared to be produced onto the website so that the owners can see every single individual transaction that occurred is not going expense.
No, you're saying
Say that
the
again.
finance committee is no longer in existence. Mr. George and Mr. Hunt, are you aware of this? You're both elected board members.
What's your question, Jim?
Are you aware that I'm not in existence anymore? The finance committee is not in existence? That's what the man said. George, are you aware of that? You aware of that? You voted for
I
us
believe
not
it
to
was a
be?
2-year term or a 1-year term, and
2 years is what you told me. Don't know.
and that timeframe expired, and no financial person was re-elected because we were planning on moving everything to the website so that the same things that you would be able to see, all the property owners would be able to see. And so there would not be a purpose for.
If you're gonna do away with it, shouldn't Mr. Hunt been aware of it? He's a vote, he's elected director.
We had
Only just
meetings
do anything without.
and, we
Okay.
published when you were elected and how long your term was.
Who was in
How
those
about,
meetings?
how about standard business courtesy?
Well, the extension of the courtesy is we're trying to put all that up on the website.
Are you
So every
following
single-
55A on all of this?
Excuse me?
Are you following our state law 55A?
That's why I said it gets kind of complicated.
It's
Riverbend
not
is-
complicated, it's complicated.
It's actually, the association is ruled under 47F
No, it's 55A.
of
55A is superseded for it.
of the
Yes,
development, community development rules.
yes.
And
Because the Vista owns the POA, is that why you're saying that it's in a different code?
No, because homeowner associations are covered under the Community Development Act.
Because I think as a total budget thing here, without going through the itemized, a lot of people had that question. We've been in associations before and we wonder why the association pays for things that are maybe what you pay for. I mean, you're paying for stuff around here, right? For the company.
Yep.
But then we see, we're paying for everything. Well, is that necessarily true? I mean, we're seeing the office supplies for the company and all that we're paying for. I guess it comes down to the budget. A lot of people have a question is, what does Vista, I'm sure you have, cost? We're paying for everything. That your company has costs as well that you're paying for, right? That are benefiting the community or not?
I do expenses that benefit the community as well. but-
See, that's the thing, it's like the fine line between the POAs, right down here to to the office stuff, you know, what does the company pay for? Other than what comes out of our pocket, I guess is one of the big questions. You know, you have fees here, we're paying for the rent, we're paying for everything, right? Am I lying?
No, you're not.
Right, that's my point. I think that's one of the things is overall budget, is people say, well, you know, what does the Vista pay for around here? You know, that's sort of the question that I've heard a lot from people. And it
How do you-
affects the overall budget.
How do you make the decision of how much we're paying for as opposed to what you're paying for your business?
We base it on the usage, the historical usage. So say, for example, we have a copy machine. Riverbend Highlands, which is a sister community to this community,